Welcome to My Food Subscriptions. Today we will be unpackaging and taking a closer look at Sunbasket. This is a meal kit company. They've launched 2014, so they're relatively young compared to, let's say, Blue Apron or HelloFresh. But they've definitely been making a lot of waves in the industry simply because of their organic specialty. So let's open this up. This came in the mail a few hours ago. I actually have no clue what meals are in it because I'm on the order ship program and I did not get a chance to select the meals for this week. So let's get this opened. Now, I do know that we should only have 2 meals in here. If you order 3 or 4 meals, it will come in a bigger box than this. 2 meals per delivery is typically the minimum. So it will come in a box of this size. If you order 3 or 4 meals, it will come in a box slightly larger than this one. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, as we finish opening this, I will take out anything in here. So we have our recipe guide. And then once we open up the box, we have our first meal as well as our second meal. So while we put the packaging off to the side, a few things I want to mention. Everything for each meal arrives inside the bag, and it's also labeled, right? So in this case, we're looking at steak with mushroom pan sauce and Brussels sprouts. Everything except the meat will be in the bag. If we reach into the bag, at the very bottom with the dry ice, I will find my steak and also my salmon. And here is the dry ice that comes with it. Alrighty, so now that we established that, let's take a quick look and explain what the menu is. Every week, Sunbasket has their chef obviously come up with all sorts of different meals for the week, and they place all the meals in this recipe book. So when you do receive your own meals that you selected or had been auto-selected on, you have to look and see the name of the meal and then simply find it inside the recipe booklet. So with the first one, we have steak with mushroom pan sauce and Brussels sprouts. So let's quickly fan through the book. I mean, there is an index here, so let's just see. Okay. Page 30. So here is the instruction, basically the instructions to prepare the meal that we received. It comes up with a quick little snippet of what it is. It tells us that it is a paleo, gluten-free, soy-free meal. It takes about 20-30 minutes to cook. Knowing how poorly I cook, it'll probably take a little longer than that. And it comes in at 680 calories per serving. On the right-hand column, we will have a list of all the ingredients that are in this bag. It will also list anything that we may need for this, so things like salt, black pepper, olive oil, and red wine as an option. And then after that, we just have 3 simple steps to complete the meal. Let's put this off to the side, and in the meantime, take everything that's out from this bag and get a close look at the quality of the ingredients. Okay, so to begin, we have a container here with arrowroot powder. Now, I personally have never heard of this, but it is in here. This is typically how the packaging comes in for any powders. Then we have pure organic maple syrup in this container here. It's definitely a bit more sturdy than the previous one. Followed up with some clarified butter. And this container is even more sturdy than the previous one. As you can see, this is actually made out of really hard plastic. And then our organic coconut almonds in this container here. As you can tell, everything is nicely secure. There isn't any leakage. There is no breaking in any of these containers, which is a good thing, since these boxes do have to travel quite a few states away and definitely get bumped up a lot. Here are the organic mushrooms that come along for this meal. The Brussels sprouts, they look pretty damn good condition. And once again, this came with the steak, so let's take a closer look at the steak itself. Now here's an interesting thing to mention. I had the slip of paper that came with the meal, and you will sometimes receive this. Now read this out loud real quick. It says, while we strive to source all organic produce, sometimes the available organic option does not meet our high standards or supply falls short. This week we need to make the following substitution to your meal. For the organic Brussels sprouts, we're swapping in Brussels sprouts. So for this meal, these are not organic. Everything else is right. The mushrooms are, the syrup, the coconut almonds are, except the Brussels sprouts. Now, typically, if you do reach out to them and you mention this, that hey, I actually really care about getting all my ingredients to be organic, they will give you a little bit of a credit back. So it's really up to you whether how much that really matters to you. But so far so good, right? All the ingredients look in great health, just as they should. So let's move on to our salmon meal. We'll put this all off to the side over here real quick. Okay, so here we're looking at the salmon with chili, lime sauce, and citrus cabbage slaw. So again, let's go through our book and quickly find it. Page 28. Okay, perfect. So once again, everything is listed out the same way as before. This is another paleo, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, Mediterranean, and diabetes-free meal. That's pretty cool. This one's 550 calories and takes 20-35 minutes to cook. Let's begin by taking things out of the bag. Another one of these. Okay, let's begin with the cilantro, right? So we got some cilantro here. If we look closer, it's actually pretty fresh cilantro. If you ever kept cilantro in your fridge, I mean, you know, kind of after 3-4 days it goes bad, and you can kind of tell the leaves get pretty dark and almost moldy. Cilantro in this case, I mean, it looks absolutely fresh, so that's nice to see. Then we have some cashews over here, roasted cashews, looking beautiful. Red pepper. It's actually organic red pepper, but they call it red chili. It's a nice little addition, even though typically everybody does have some red pepper back at home, but just in case yours is not organic. Followed up with an orange. Then we have some organic garlic cloves. Again, great shape. There's even a little sticker on it from the hgofarms.com. It's a free plug. Here we go. We got some more chili lime sauce base. Okay, I think we had this in the previous. Did we? We did not. So this is the first one right here. We also have some soy dressing base. As you can tell, the containers repeat, right? So all the containers that we've so far seen, that's likely what things will appear in. And just like last time, there isn't any leakage, no breakage. Everything looks in great shape and order. Put this off to the side. Let's head over to the organic mint. Now, unlike the cilantro, the mint looks a little bit more dated. Just mostly in the stems, as you could kind of tell. The leaves look perfectly fine, but you know, if I'm cooking this meal, I probably do want to make sure I use the mint in the next 24 hours or so. And then we have our organic cabbage, organic red cabbage, right there. It looks a little purple to me, but it looks good. Finally, for the meat, we have our salmon. Wild caught, sustainable, and traceable. It is not farmed, it does not have preservatives, and it does not have antibiotics. That is cool. And that is, again, something that Sunbasket really prides themselves on, in making sure that their meat products do not have antibiotics. And here is how the salmon looks like. I mean, you know, the meat is wonderful. No complaints here whatsoever. But let's take a look at this letter. Okay, oh, here's what happened. Here's what happened to the chili flakes. These right here should have been organic jalapenos. So this is kind of the consolation prize here. Unfortunately, jalapenos might have been a bit better for the dish. Now, even though that does happen every once in a while, most of the time it doesn't really change the quality of the meal. But this was a small little introduction to, you know, what to expect at a Sunbasket. If you ordered 3 meals, which is typically the norm, you would have had 33% more ingredients than I have right now. The box gets bigger. The box itself, the dry ice, all of that is biodegradable. That is a nice thing by Sunbasket. I would still love it if they found a way to have a smaller footprint in terms of packaging, but that is a common issue you're going to find with all the other giants. As Blue Apron, HelloFresh, you get these enormous boxes, you get all of this, yeah, what is this called? All this paper. And, you know, it sucks, you know, because, you know, HelloFresh donates like thousands of pounds of food to like homeless shelters, and they teamed up with the Diabetic Association a couple of months ago. So there's a lot of good being done, but a lot of these meal kit services simply need to find a way to reduce their footprint when it comes to stuff like this. Now let's talk a bit more about how much can you expect to pay for Sunbasket, right? So it really depends as to how many meals you are ordering. In this case, we have 2 meals. Every meal consists of 2 servings, typically. If you opt for the family plan, and again, I'm going to have all this listed right here, hopefully on that side. If you opt for the family plan, you may end up getting 4 servings for 1 meal. 1 meal basically being like the actual meal that you're buying. But typically, for the family plan, it's 2 servings per meal. And if you order the smallest amount of meals, which is 2 meals per delivery, you'll probably be paying about $13 per serving, which comes out to about $26 for a meal. Is that more expensive than going out and getting fast food? I'm sure it is. It's probably even a few dollars more than Chipotle. Is it more expensive than going out to a restaurant? No, it's not. It's still a great way to make a quality meal at home, especially if you lack any sort of skills in the kitchen, such as myself. I'm going to have a few images of some of the meals that I've cooked up over the last few months, played at the end of this video, so you get an idea of what an amateur like myself can really do with these meals here. Because they do a great job in kind of pushing you step by step as to what you should do. And everything's really prepared for you, just a matter of like slice, 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 throw that in there, slice, 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 and you're good to go. In terms of delivery options, you typically have about 3 different days of the week to choose for delivery. Once it comes in, you do want to take the box off your porch, bring it in, open it up, get the ingredients out. Since we do have some ingredients in here that have to be refrigerated right off the bat, especially the meats, right? So by recommendation, if you receive any meals that consist of meat, you want to get those meals cooked up within 3 days. If your meals do not have any sorts of meats in them, you can take as much as 5 days to cook your meals. That is something to keep in mind. So I recommend at first, maybe starting out of 3 meals a week at most. Because if you order more than that, if you get 4 or 5 meals, you may not find the time to really cook up everything. I know it typically says about 20-35 minutes for a lot of these meals. For me, it takes up 45 minutes or so. But again, I'm relatively slow in this. And that brings me into the second thing. The reason why I prefer Sunbasket out of all the other competitors is simply because they have a lot more dietary options for you. If you prefer paleo, they have that. You could have every meal that's suggested to you to be strictly paleo. Same thing for gluten-free people or soy-free people. If you're diabetic, there are meals for that. If you're looking for meals that are low in calories, they have a whole set of meals for that. Just trying to think if I'm missing anything, right? So we have diabetes-free. There's family-friendly, which, take that as you want. Dairy-free, vegetarian. That's a big one. Vegan. So again, out of all the competitors out there, I would say that Sunbasket really puts a humongous effort in having all of these options. Because you can head over to, say Home Chef, for example. Yeah, they may have a vegan option, but it may just be 2 or 3 meals suggested per week. While Sunbasket, they really try to get out as many possible good meals for all of these categories, to attract a wide range. In terms of where Sunbasket delivers, right now it's in 47 states. 48, but a portion of North Montana. I'm not sure what happened to the other portion, but only a portion of it. They do not deliver to Hawaii or Alaska, so as long as you do not live Hawaii, Alaska, or the back portion of North Montana, you can get a delivery of Sunbasket. If you're looking for a really in-depth review on this, I will put my written review in the description below. As you may now figure out, I own a website called myfoodsubscriptions.com, and I basically review all the meal kits out on the market. Sunbasket ranks #1 for us, and again, if you head down there to our detailed review written, you can get a better idea all the information you need about it, and most importantly, you do get a coupon code that will work with Sunbasket. Now, Sunbasket does continuously change the coupon codes available, but I make sure to stay on top of that. Right now, there's a $60 off one, which is fantastic, but if you're watching this video, it's probably not that anymore, so click below, to get the latest one. In addition to that, simply read our review. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments. I will read, I will answer them. And again, promo code in the description, and our written review in the description as well. Thank you so much for listening, and hopefully this gave you a little bit of an introduction to Sunbasket.